I'm James Dunbar and I'm the gaffer on Love in Vain. Well, as Phil got me to be the gaffer for the short Love in Vain, which we did at film school, me and Phil stayed in touch after we left film school, and he was like, come and do it again, I guess. The gaffer he works with the DOP to decide the lighting plan for the film. A lot of the time, it's a more hands-on role than the DOP. The DOP usually decides with the gaffer, and then the gaffer goes and does, whilst the DOP is busy looking at the camera with the director. But Gally is a little bitch and likes to do it hands-on as well, so, try and take shit from me. You interact with the arts department quite heavily, set design, because certain set design is going to affect the lighting plan, things will reflect off certain materials, that kind of thing. A fucking large part of gaffering in a low budget film is blacking out every location. So you're putting massive sheets of black material on all the windows. So that's obviously going to affect the art department a bit. They're going to be a bit upset if you ruin all their nice hard work by putting black sheets over everything. It is probably one of the less involved roles in pre-production. You obviously do lighting plans and things like that, but because it's a low budget film, I try to get involved in other aspects and help out where I can. But it's mostly just developing a lighting plan with the DOP, and deciding on, you kind of get a vibe for what the DOP and the director want the theme of a scene to be, and you kind of go on and try and, develop the mise-en-scène for the lighting from there, I put the lights up. We get the lights, put them on stands, point them at or near the actors, make them look nice, make them look bad sometimes. Lots of hanging out blackout blinds on windows, lots of tape. Yeah.
What is the dynamic between yourself and the director of photography like?
Jim Gally, the main man. Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. We like to cuddle. We play video games together sometimes. Professionally, we butt heads. He tries to micromanage me quite a bit. He's very distracting. But we work very well together. Yeah, me and James Gallagher, we work very well together. We've worked together quite a lot as DOP and gaffer. So I think we understand each other on a very deep level. It usually comes after what Phil and Jimbo have decided for the shot list and all that, and storyboards, and then we'll read through the script, get the vibe of the scene, discuss with Phil, myself and Gally will, and then we'll just go from there. We usually start with the kind of vibe or the theme of a scene, and then the main thing is to make sure the actors are lit. So because we shoot over such a long period of time, we will often look back on our previous stuff we've shot to make sure we're being consistent with the new lighting plan. We did a block for Evelyn's flat at one location, and to make sure we were consistent with that one, at the end of the shoot, we went through and took pictures of all the lighting setups to make sure we could then just easily get in, put it all back up quickly, get out. Obviously, little things have to change depending on the mood of a scene, but there's usually a base we would go from, and we'll go from there. Practical lighting is pretty much lighting you see in the scene. It's usually the use of like household lamps, or in a restaurant, like a chandelier popping in from the top that you actually use to light the scene. Often in films, you'll see like a lamp, but it's not actually fucking doing anything. But we quite like actually using that lamp or that lampshade to create a more natural feel to a scene. So one thing we'll often do, we use a lot of light bulbs. We'll like run an extra light bulb into a lamp and then like tape it in there and have 2 lamps coming out of a light bulb just to give it some extra output. And often lampshades can be used to cut quite a nice shape of light on someone's face or something like that. But yeah, we love practicals. Me and Gally do. We made a practical we called light bulb on a stick, and it was a light bulb that we drilled onto a stick. We loved that guy. Roger Deakins actually loves using practical ring lights, and he'll make them himself sometimes. We did that at one point and made a massive ring light out of just like bits of wood that we drilled together, and then we stuck light bulbs all around the outside, and it was fucking a death trap because the wiring was fucked, and it eventually just short-circuited my house, and I had to stop using it because it blew out the circuits every time I used it. One of the first things we tried for Evelyn's phone was Jim Galley, Mr. DOP. He got a special app on a special phone, and it basically makes the screen really bright, and then we just dialed that up to 11, and then that gave a nice soft light on her face. We used a lot of practical lights, lots of light bulbs, household lighting, which is obviously a lot cheaper than professional lighting equipment. Also, Gally has access to professional lighting equipment. Don't ask me how. So occasionally we'll get a nice fancy light to use. However, it can be a bit difficult to transport because usually we're not hiring a van because we don't have any fucking money. Phil also has some of his own equipment that we use. It's very helpful. And I believe Gally has a few lights of his own as well. But the main things we use are, I have like 10 light bulbs and Gally also has like 10 light bulbs. And we've just got long cable that we've ran from them, and we just use them pretty much every shoot. We've got a selection of both bayonet and screw lights so that we can match just any lamp we need. So yeah, that is mostly what we use. And we've gone to a lot of charity shops to like get nice lampshades that we can use and things like that. But yeah, it's not too bad with the lighting because most of what we're doing is inside. We don't need a big powerful light source. We can just use lamps and things like that. We shot a scene. Evelyn's on a date. She's in this bloke's bedroom, and we decided to use lots of blue light to give it kind of a stylized look. We used blue light to replicate moonlight coming in through a window. And to do that, we had this massive cookie cutter, which is a cutout shape, obviously of a window in this case, but it's of what you're trying to shoot the light through. Lining that up, right, and getting enough light in that scene whilst also having loads of blue, what's it called? Like blue gel in front of the big light we were using. That with a fucking packed room as well, because there was loads of crew in that room. And we also had a blood bag in that scene, which was causing issues in other senses. There was a lot going on there, and that ended up being quite a tricky one, if I remember correctly. It was also the first one we did, so everyone's kind of getting used to things, you know. And since then, all our lighting setups have been a lot simpler, either because, you know, they needed to be simpler, or because we couldn't be asked to do that again because it's a lot of hassle. You know, you choose. My favorite aspect is probably how hands-on it is. I like to be involved. I like to be doing lots of stuff all the time, moving big lights around, putting big lights on stands, hoisting them up, you know, shouting, striking when you turn on the lights and no one looks at the light, but then everyone looks because you're shouting. That's my favorite bit, actually, shouting, striking. Yeah. Sometimes I literally am an extra. Yeah, I've been an extra in a restaurant scene. Rachel was there too. My favorite parts are just being on the shoots, really, and being with everyone and just getting hands-on, actually doing the filming. Like, I used to party a lot when I was younger, and it kind of feels like a nice straight edge party almost, because you've got all your friends in one location and you're kind of doing some nice fancy lights and stuff. You're doing little side quests, going off to like do some job and then coming back. It's nice. That's my favorite part. It's hard to pin down like a specific shoot. The stuff we did in, I won't say where, the stuff we shot for Millie's flat, I enjoyed. I think the set design was really good for that. Jackie did a really good job. And then I think the lighting was also quite nice for that as well. It was quite a small environment, so we were quite cramped. But yeah, I think everyone did a really good job on that. And we're like a shoot in, and we've used that location twice now, 3 times? Twice? Just twice? Yeah, we've used that location twice, so we're kind of a bit used to it. Yeah, that's probably my favourite shoot. Although I like the one in the restaurant as well, because Rach got to come to the shoot. That was quite nice. My advice for someone starting out doing film, wanting to be a gaffer, is probably to try and go to a film school that's got a lot of access to equipment. That's the best thing I found at film school. It was meeting people. So I met great people like Phil and Gally and all the rest of the crew pretty much. And it's access to the equipment. You learn so much just from being hands-on with it and just physically looking at how the light interacts with the actor and the camera. That's honestly the most important thing you can do, and it's difficult to get access to that equipment because it's fucking expensive. So the only way I would have been able to do it is to go to a film school. So one other thing you could do as well is probably just get your own little setup, like get a cheap, shitty camera, half decent lens if you can afford it, like save up for that, and then just use light bulbs and just household items, because you can really nicely light a scene just with little household items, like just black out some windows, use the light bulbs, play with them, you know, like get someone to stand in so you can like see how the lighting interacts with that person and the space. Yeah, and just do your own shit if you can, you know. Yeah.